In 1793, Eli Whitney was a New England schoolteacher looking for work between school terms. His travels brought him to Mulberry Grove, the Georgia plantation of the late General Nathanael Greene. While there, Whitney heard the complaints of Southern planters firsthand. Clever and curious by nature, Eli Whitney set his mind to fashioning the key that would unlock the Upland Cotton Bowl.
I received your letter of the 16th of August with peculiar satisfaction and delight. During this time, I heard much said of the extreme difficulty in ginning cotton, that is, separating it from its seeds. Thinking on the subject, I struck out a plan of a machine in my mind. In about 10 days, I made a little model, for which I was offered, if I would give up all right and title to it, 100 guineas. I concluded to relinquish my school and turn my attention to perfecting the machine. I returned north for the purpose of having a machine made on a large scale and obtaining a patent for the invention. I am now so sure of success that $10,000 would not tempt me to give up the object. With respects to Mama, I am, your most obedient son, Eli Whitney.
With the help of gentlemen at Greene's plantation, Eli Whitney set about designing and building the machine that he had envisioned. Upon completing his working model of his cotton gin, Whitney applied for a patent with the United States government in 1794. The machine that Whitney devised used a hand crank and a belt to turn 2 rollers in opposite directions. The first roller had rows of spikes that snagged the raw cotton and pulled it through a mesh that looked like a comb. While the cotton fibers could pass through the comb, the seeds could not and were left behind. The second brush roller spun in the opposite direction and swept the clean cotton off of the spikes. Whitney was protective of his new device and at first did not sell cotton gins. Rather, he built gins and charged for ginning services. This infuriated planters who preferred to own their own gins and didn't want to pay what they felt were Whitney's exorbitant rates. Planters began building their own gins, even over Whitney's protests, beginning what would be a decades-long fight over patent rights. 5 years before Whitney's patent, a South Carolina blacksmith named Henry Ogden Holmes had developed a similar device. Holmes's cotton gin was superior to Whitney's in several ways. Holmes's gin used saw blades rather than spikes. It could be continuously operated and was able to process more than twice as much cotton. Perhaps its biggest advantage was that Holmes was not nearly as protective of his invention as Whitney. Henry Ogden Holmes's gin quickly became widespread, and even Eli Whitney used elements of it in his design. But the name, Henry Ogden Holmes, well, that's been nearly lost to history. The cotton gin had unlocked the Upland Cotton Bowl. It had cut the time-consuming process of cleaning cotton by a factor of 10. Southern planters quickly realized that if they could keep their gins fed all season long, they stood to make enormous profits. But while the cotton gin had dramatically changed how cotton was processed, the way that cotton was harvested had remained unchanged for centuries.